Hey, everybody. Today is our 399th podcast episode. I'm so excited about where we have gone, how we've done it, how long we've been doing it, and it's all about the consistency. It's all about having the right mindset, and that's why I want today's podcast episode to be about prospecting. Prospecting is the first step in your sales process. I would not be where I am today if we did not master prospecting, because nothing else happens until you get this right. So we're going to talk about prospecting. We're going to go pretty deep, so stick around. You're listening to Marketing Tips with Meliss podcast.
Welcome to Marketing Tips with Meliss podcast. And now your host, Meliss-Ep.
All right, so let's talk about what prospecting actually is. Prospecting is the part of the sales process. It's that first step that you need before you move on to the other stages of your sales process. So it consists of really analyzing and deeply understanding the type of client that you want to attract. Now, once you understand that, then you want to search for ways to connect with these potential clients so that you can decide on the best ways to approach them. This means hanging out where they are, speaking the language that they're speaking, and really contacting them in their preferred way. It's all about them. That is number one. It's all about them. Now, the purpose of the sales process is to build a relationship with these potential clients. And when we do that, we get to know them on a deeper level. So this not only helps you understand who your ideal client is and what they struggle with, it's an overall picture of, I've spoken to so many people and now I understand that they're all going through this type of thing. But it also builds relationships for you in a way where you can expand your network by one-on-one relationships and then expanding out from there. So if you're speaking with someone, you might make a really good friendship with them. They may not be a good person to work with, but they may know 10 other people that might be a really great person to work with because they're already part of your dream clientele. So building a relationship is a very key component to getting any sales in your business. No one's going to buy from you if they don't know you, especially if you're running an online personal branded business. It's all about being personal. And your only opportunity to connect is online because that's where you are meeting them. That's where they're hanging out. So we want to make sure that we really understand the sales prospect part of the sales system for online business and that we focus it about them. Building a relationship with them, understanding their needs and wants and desires, dreams and interests, and then building the relationship so that later on down the road, they may potentially become a client, or they may know a whole lot more people that can potentially become clients for you. Now, before we get into prospecting, I want you to take one step back, and that is your message. Your message needs to be extremely clear so that when you start prospecting, you know what you're saying. It needs to be very concise so that you know, I only have a few seconds to catch someone's attention. What am I going to say? We don't need to be sending them paragraphs and paragraphs long in the DMs. Just one sentence could do it. And you need to be very consistent. So you're showing up and your message is the same throughout every time you show up. For example, if you're posting on Facebook about 3 or 4 topics, that's pretty consistent. But if you're posting on Facebook about all 7 of the businesses that you own, that's going to be a muddied down message and it's not consistent at all. And then we want to make sure that you're hitting the targets that we want in your message. So we're talking about pain points that we know our target market actually has. We're talking about the solutions that we know our target market actually wants. And we are going to put our message out in the places where our target market is going to hear them. So once you understand about messaging, now we can go into the prospecting part of the sales process. So there are 3 parts to having wonderful prospecting skills. The first part is researching your target market. The second part is researching your prospect. And the third part is interacting with your people so that they can build a relationship with you. So when it comes to researching your target market, we're talking about understanding who you want to work with, who it is that lights your soul on fire. You're so excited about it and you definitely want to work with them. And then you need to figure out where they are. Are they mostly on Facebook? Are they on Instagram? Do they watch your YouTube videos? Where are you finding these people? Maybe it's not even online. Maybe you're going to a weekly networking event in your local community, and that's where you're finding your people. And then you want to identify who of those people might potentially be interested in what you have to offer based on what you know. And then we move into that second part where we're researching who this person is. So you need to figure out the best way to connect with them. And there are so many ways to connect with your prospects, both on and offline. We'll talk about a few here. You can do cold calling, which not a lot of people like to do, but you can do that. And certain businesses actually rely on cold calling. Why? Because it works. It works. It could be a great referral source that you can use. You can use a referral source. So that means you're going to go to networking events and you're meeting a bunch of people and someone gives you a referral. It could come from past clients who had a great experience with you and they're sending you a referral. It could come from other coaching opportunities that you're a part of. So if you're in a coaching group, for example, my clients in Marketing with Intention, they make lifelong friendships with other people in the cohort. So if you're a part of different communities, you can find your people within that community. Of course, social media is a really big one. We'll go more into that in a second. And that can be any of the platforms. It can be from blogging. It can be from webinars. It can be from challenges from Facebook groups, from Instagram, from your stories. It can be from anything, YouTube, LinkedIn. So social media is extremely powerful. And find out what is the best way to get in touch with these people. And then you want to, of course, do the research. Now, if you haven't seen my kit, Market Research Like a Boss, you want to go grab that at melissmarketing.com/shop. And we talk all about the research in there. So you want to research what their interests are, what their behaviors are, what they like, where they live, where they are on that journey through their transformation or towards their transformation. What are their problems? What are they struggling with? Those are the things that you want to really deeply understand about your prospect. And then we move into that third stage, which is that interaction component. And this is where you're going to connect with your prospect and you're going to start building a relationship with them. You're going to talk to them. You're going to find out things about them, just like you were on a first date. And when it comes time for you to realize this person, is it going to be a conversation that becomes one where she's a good fit for my program? That's when you shift and you move your message. And then you're going to start building a relationship. You're going to talk to them. You're going to find out things about them just like you would on a first date. And when it comes time for you to realize, is this person going to be a good fit for my program? That's when you shift and you move into your message, a personalized message about your service. And then based on how they respond, you take the conversation from there. You're interacting. Now, that is not to say, and let me make sure you understand this, not all prospects are going to turn into clients. And you don't need to talk to every prospect and force them or convince them or manipulate them to be your client. That is not what this is about. I want to be very clear about that. When we're prospecting, I want you to think about it as we are adding to our network of more friends. We are building genuine friendships online. We are surrounding ourselves with people who have positive energy and light our souls on fire. And a small percentage of those people are going to fall into more of the bucket of potential client, and all the other people are going to fall into the bucket of potential friend, or they may just not be interested either way and they're just going to fall off. Join my Get Clients Sales Sprint right now. When it comes to running a business that is actually profitable, many entrepreneurs find themselves making costly mistakes and leave thousands of dollars on the table each month. In this interactive sales sprint, I will challenge you daily for 3 weeks with actions that get you closer to your next paid client and guide you through all of the steps you need to follow in order to have a business that actually grows your bank account. If you aren't profitable, you have an expensive hobby, and it's time to change that right now. Time to pay yourself the big bucks, my dear. Go to abundant-strategy.com/get-clients-sales-sprint. See you there. So go into this thinking, I'm here to make friends. I'm here to support. I'm here to encourage because I care. So there are many ways to prospect, like we just talked about. I want to go a little bit more in depth here with the social media. Social media is an awesome source. As you know, Facebook groups are the number one way to prospect because you're already hanging out in the group of people who have similar or something very similar or in common with you. And therefore, you don't have to search for people who have something similar or in common with you. You're already in there in that group. So Facebook groups are absolute number one. Also, you can use LinkedIn if you're into LinkedIn, and you can use the InMail feature. You can use the Sales Navigator. You can connect with people and have conversations from there. And of course, you want to share your content. Now, a lot of people don't think about content as prospecting, but that is essentially why we're writing the content. We want to educate the people that are already in our world. We want to also attract people who read our content and get very excited about what it is we have to share. And then they become part of our world. So your content is a prospecting piece, a very important piece of this prospecting puzzle, a very important piece of the process. So if you aren't writing very strong, compelling content, people are going to come to your page and just skip right on. So just think about content as an extremely powerful way of prospecting, especially if you're not spending money on ads, because you can prospect by sending Facebook ads into people's news feeds, but that's going to cost you a lot of money. So if you're not going to be spending that type of money, it's time to write great content. And if you are going to spend that type of money, you still have to write great content as well, just not as much of it because you're putting ad spend budget behind it. But you can also use the search bar. It's such an important feature on all of the platforms for keywords, for hashtags, words that your potential clients would use, but a few steps before they become your clients. So someone who's a little bit at the beginning of their journey, and then you're going to help take them to the next level. So you want to look for the language that someone who's more at the beginning would be using. What struggles are they going through? What words are they searching for? Pop those into the search bar and see what you get. Also, email marketing. It's a great way to prospect. Now, you could send cold emails to your whole email list. Those people are a little bit warmer, but you can also send them to a massive amount of people if you get a hold of a list. Now, I haven't done that before. I don't prefer to do that. There are certain businesses that require that, and it actually does make sense for them. My business is not one of them, and as a coach or a healer, your business is probably not one of them as well. But more on the software side, that's what they do. But for a personal brand like what I do, I really want to build that personal connection. So I use email marketing as a way to nurture my subscribers, to offer a lot of valuable content, to give away lots of things for free. I mean, I'm sending emails a few times a week, and every email is jam-packed with high value. And I'm giving workbooks away and video trainings and so much great stuff. So that really nurtures people. And that's how you can use email marketing to create prospects as well. Also, we have this Sales Navigator inside of LinkedIn, which is a great way to get prospects. It is a paid feature, and we used to use that here in the agency, but we don't use it so much anymore. So we've really put most of our focus now into Facebook and Instagram these days, but we were using Facebook and LinkedIn as our main source for a while, and the Sales Navigator really did help us out. You could also be a guest in people's Facebook groups, a guest article publisher for a blog or a magazine, a guest writer. You could be a guest on someone's podcast. This is a great way to leverage other people's audiences and have a great way to pick out those people who would be wonderful prospects for you. Of course, I've mentioned networking events because they're a very powerful way to get more prospects, but they do take a lot of time. So you'll need to go every single week. You'll usually have a membership for a year. You'll meet maybe once a week or twice a month, and you get to know the people in your group. Now, when you get to know the people on a deep level, you'll be able to offer them some referrals, and they'll be able to offer you some referrals. That's the benefit there. When I'm part of networking events or networking groups on a regular basis, I always have a lot of business coming in. But it does take time. You're not there to market to the people in your chapter. You're there to educate on what it is you do so that they can go tell other people about what you do. Or when other people ask them, hey, do you know someone who does this thing that you do? They will refer you. So it does take time because you need to build that relationship with each person individually in the networking group on a one-on-one basis over time. So the last thing I want to say about prospecting is that when it comes time to take it to that next level, when you're building that relationship, there are 5 different ways that you can do that. The first is by phone. This is where you're going to get on a call with someone. Maybe you have a 30-minute assessment that you're going to do together. Or if you do cold calling, this is where you'd be on the phone as well. The second one is email. So this is where you can send emails to follow up with people after you've met them at a networking event. Or if you have a lot of email subscribers, this is where you can nurture them and send emails with high valuable content. Text messages are a great way to get in touch with your prospects as well. Some people will opt in to something and put their phone number in there. So that way they're giving permission to text them. And then you have those automated texts that go out. So this is something that we have not really done or taken advantage of here in the agency. And maybe we will one day, but it's not a priority right now. And I will say that if I am connecting with a prospect, I will text them when I have their phone number as like a back and forth. So my text messages are like the second touch point after I've already been building a relationship. And then I can just follow up with them with the number. So I do a lot of connecting in the DMs, both on Facebook and on Instagram. So DMs is another one, and that's a great way. It's also like a text. If you're on your phone, it's like a text, but if you're on your computer, it kind of feels like an email. But it's just back and forth in the DMs. So you can use voice message feature also in the DMs, which is really, really nice because it helps build that relationship much more quickly. We get to hear each other's voices. It's more real and personal, and it's more like in real time. So it's a great way to use the DMs. And number 5 is Zoom or anything like Zoom. Zoom is a wonderful way to connect with your prospects. You can have coffee chats. You can meet online and have a group networking event. You could have a one-on-one call, like a discovery session over Zoom. And you can choose to do video or audio only. It's up to you. Those are the best ways to connect. Now, this is what I've done in my business. It's what has gotten us here almost a decade later running my business with ups and downs and changing who we were connecting with and our target market over time. That changes. So as you evolve, all of that evolves as well. But one thing that does not change is that you have to have prospects in order to have a healthy, growing business where money is coming in and you are signing on clients. So great prospecting is about 5 things. It's doing it at the right time in the process. It's doing it with the right person, the right target market. It's doing with the right technique. That's number 3, knowing which way you want to do it. It's going through the right channel, number 4, and it's using the right message, number 5. So I hope you enjoyed this 399th podcast episode. We're so excited about what's coming in the next episodes. I highly, highly recommend you subscribe to this podcast so that you can check out what's happening. It's a surprise in the next few episodes. I don't want you to miss it. I hope this helps, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for listening to the Marketing Tips with Meliss podcast at www.marketingtipswithmeliss.com.
Oh, wait. Before you go, I've got a special invitation for you, so listen up. Join thousands of spiritual women, entrepreneurs, coaches, healers, and business owners in a cozy community to learn effective and aligned strategies to grow and scale your business through organic marketing and so much more. I'm inviting you to join my free community called the Spiritual Women Entrepreneurs to lift one another up in business, spirituality, finances, and emotional support. Visit spiritualwomenentrepreneurs.com. See you on the inside.